You're listening to the 3 Feet Radio Show with Ben Carbonaro and Luke Herbert. From our studios come special guests and netball commentary, exclusively on YouTube.
Good evening, listeners, and welcome to the 3 Feet Radio Show. Joining me today is my co-host, Luke Herbert. G'day, Luke.
G'day, Ben, and it's a pleasure to be broadcasting from our brand new UK TV studios, which we have named after the late David Frost, a great TV presenter. But, before I get too far off track, why don't you introduce our guest who's sitting on the couch by the coffee machine that may or may not be working?
I most certainly will, Luke, and joining us this evening, our time anyway, is England captain Geva Mentor. G'day, Geva.
Hello, good evening, boys. It's about mid-afternoon here, so I think you guys are about 9 hours or so ahead of us.
We are, but that's not going to stop us from having a chat to you. Just to kick things off here, Geva, what kind of emotion did you have when it was announced by England coach Tracy Neville that you were captain of the England team for the 2015 Netball World Cup?
Yeah, well, before the team was actually announced, she rang me up a couple of days before and basically asked a question, to which I was actually pretty shocked at the time. To play for your country is obviously a great honour, but to be given the opportunity to lead it and lead this great bunch of girls that we got is an absolute privilege, and one I'm very proud of. So probably the emotion that I felt was just so proud that I'd obviously achieved that personally, and then have this great responsibility to go forth with the expectations that we got of this playing group.
And just briefly, do you have any particular thoughts on leadership now that you're the captain of the England side?
I like to think I've been around some great leaders. I've been in obviously England set up for a fair while, and obviously in the championships under some great captains. And Bianca Chatfield I take a lot of inspiration from, with my Melbourne Vixens captain, who obviously retired this year. So I guess there's loads of leadership qualities that I've seen over my years and that I've seen have worked and may not have worked. So I like to try and think that I'm taking the best of those ones that I see, and also making sure I stay true to myself. And probably within myself, it's just about making sure I lead by example, making sure that I'm that calming influence on court, and making sure that I listen and respect all the players within our group to get the best out of them.
And Geva, there's more English players than ever before playing the ANZ Championship, and pretty much all of them are in the England team for the Netball World Cup. It's great for the sport in England, isn't it?
I think it's great for NZ Championships altogether. I mean, it just livens it up. You look at Romelda Aiken, who's obviously representing Jamaica in there, Janelle Fowler, us English girls. It adds a new dynamics to the competition, and I'm all for obviously having imports part of the ANZ Championships, because I think it does spice it up for spectators. It obviously toughens the competition for the Australians and the New Zealanders, and for us to be able to have 5 English representatives playing in the ANZ Championships and representing us within the England squad. It just means we get that tough week in, week out competition. We're used to playing and training at a high level, and hopefully we can strengthen and share our knowledge that we gain throughout the seasons with our fellow English teammates who perhaps haven't had the opportunity as yet, and hopefully that will put us in good stead this Worlds next month.
Yeah, and ultimately too, I think, if I can just purely put on my fan hat for a moment, and I hope you'll forgive me for doing so, but I think the English players too have made the ANZ Championship more exciting. Like before I moved to the Deep South and I used to watch the Tactic, watching Jade Clark was a highlight, to say the least. But I just need to sort of move along here a little bit in the studio, because, I could spend quite a bit of time also talking about what a big fan I am of Jade Clark, but then we'd have no time left for the interview, you see. But, just then speaking of, coaches, you've been coached by quite a few different coaches over the journey or the years. And where does Tracy Neville fit in terms of her coaching strategies and as a person?
Obviously, I've known Tracy through playing days. When I first made the England setup, she was a good friend and a teammate. And as she went on to retire, we still kept our friendship base alive with doing coaching workshops together, leading teachers, students, and obviously that friendship has been able to continue with the great social media or Facebook. And now, obviously, Tracy's taking a step up, doing very well over the National Super League Manchester Thunder, being able to coach at elite level. She's now obviously given the opportunity to take us national side, the England side, through to the World Cup. And it's just great to see what she's doing and what she's been doing with this program. She's a bit of a ball in the China shop, but in the good sense that she's come in, she's changed a lot of things in such a short time. She's got the girls to a great standard, being able to use a lot of stats and resources that we had before and really just channel them into getting the best out of this playing group. So I'm really excited to be working with her, and hopefully we can keep building on our friendship and leadership qualities as captain and coach.
And, just speaking of the Melbourne Vixens, looking back at this year's ANZ Championships, was it a bit of an inconsistent season?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I guess it really changed. And yeah, it wasn't a great season for us at Melbourne Vixens. There's definitely some highlights that we can take from it, being able to introduce some younger, inexperienced players within our team onto court and really show them what it's going to take to be able to perform consistently at that level. I think will put us in good stead for next season and the seasons to come. But yeah, obviously not where we want to be. The Melbourne Vixens and Victoria netball, we rate ourselves so highly, and not making finals was extremely disappointing.
And just back on the England side of things now, Geva. Obviously, the lack of success at the Glasgow Commonwealth Games was quite well documented. What's going to be the deciding factors for England's success at the Netball World Cup coming up next month?
Yeah, it took a fair while to get over the results from the Commonwealth Games last year in Glasgow. Some heartbreaking decisions right in the last sort of moments of the game, which obviously ended up us coming away with the fourth place position. So I think we've grown a lot as a team. We've been able to, I guess, breathe over it, move on, identify our strengths and weaknesses, and make sure that we try hard as we can for that not to happen again. But definitely looking forward, it's just consistency and knowing that momentum's change quickly, and even if you're up by 10 goals, that's still not enough to win a game. But you've got to keep pushing, and you've got to keep demanding and wanting more from your team and yourself individually out there on court. So I think for us looking forward, it's about consistency, about cutting down our error rates and just making sure we take the most of those opportunities that are presented to us.
And Geva, also there's an exciting young shooter in the team, Helen Houseby. There's been some pretty big raps on her from the English media and wider netball community over there in the UK. Could you tell us a bit more about her, please?
Yeah, obviously Helen's worked a lot with Tracy Neville, our now coach. She's a Northerner. She's had some very good seasons in the National Super League, the domestic competition in England. And we've got some really exciting players within this team and that she's been able to work with and learn from. And I think this is obviously a big step up, her being able to represent her country and play at the elite level against these top defenders that she'll be facing. So it's going to be really exciting to see how she fares, not just for this World Cup, but with the years to come. I think she's a really exciting prospect, and I think she'll just blossom as the years go on and as she gains more experience and more confidence out there.
And you were talking about previously work with teachers and students before. You're very involved in community-based programs with Netball Victoria, away from playing for the Vixens. Can you see yourself doing more kind of that work with culturally and linguistically diverse communities once you finish playing?
Yeah, I'd love to. Obviously, I'm very passionate about that, coming from a mixed race background. Unfortunately, I'll no longer be able to do that role with Netball Victoria, as that position is no longer available, but hopefully someone will be able to snap me up, whether it's down the netball pathway or whether it's involved with another sport. But I'm definitely very keen and very passionate about getting people involved in sport, and particularly those from a multicultural background. It's a great way to not just connect with community, but feel that sense of belonging. So, yeah, definitely very keen to pursue that passion of mine. It's just unfortunate that I'll no longer be able to do it through Netball Victoria now.
And Geva, just to wrap up here, you and I have known each other for quite a few years now. How much do you love Melbourne as a new home for you and your lovely partner, Lockie?
You should know very well, Ben.
I do, but for
I feel so at home in Melbourne. Yeah, I feel very at home in Melbourne. I think it's just, I never thought I'd be a city girl, but living right in the city, it's just so easy to get around. There's so much going on. I love my sport. I love my entertainment, and it all comes to us, which is fantastic. So, yeah, I think you won't be able to get rid of me. I think I've firmly planted my roots there. It helps that I've got a lovely fiancé on my side or by my side. So, yeah, sorry, you won't be able to get rid of me now, Ben.
I don't think I'd ever want to do that anyway, Geva.
Well, Geva, Ben and I wish you all the best for the World Cup, and I certainly think it's going to be very interesting to see how England goes, and I say that both as a commentator and a Silver Ferns supporter. And thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you, Luke. Lovely to speak to you and Ben this evening, and have a great evening.
You've been listening to the 3 Feet Radio Show with Ben Carbonaro and Luke Herbert. Tune in next time for more special guests and netball commentary exclusively on YouTube.